Hey guys, welcome back to Snake River Fly tying tutorials. Hope everybody's alive and well out there. It is the 31st of March. We're hanging out in Pocatello, Old Town. Just got a little rattling in the cage. It looks like we had an earthquake, maybe, where did you say? Stanley?
Yeah. Stanley.
We didn't feel it, but it's always shaking down here. Anyway, today we're going to tie up a bug that we sell a lot of. Just a super great do-all bug with some hydro hackle. And this is the SRF Bugger 2.0. I think we did it back in the day with Conehead, but we kind of prefer them with clouser eyes. This has got a double pupil. And I'm going to tie this same color today. Just a cool black purple version. Ow, and the hooks are sharp. So we're going to start out with a streamer hook that we have here in the shop. It's a barbless number 4, 3X long. Hopefully we'll have these out on the website sometime in 2020. And of course, we're always looking for our golden ticket, so we're going to roll some Semperfli 6/0 waxed purple. So I'm going to go ahead and start my thread. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You know, if we're tying a bunch of these, we'll put our clouser eyes on early, glue them, set them, and then go back and finish the bug. For our tutorial today, we're just going to go ahead and put them in as we go. Good thread base. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this clouser eye on here. This is a double pupil from Hairline black and white. And we're going to set that eye back a little bit farther than normal. We're not looking for that jig effect. We're looking for a fly that's going to run a little more level. So we're coming back a good 3/4 of an inch from the hook eye. About 10 wraps one direction, and then equal amount of wraps the other direction until I get this eye setting the way I want it, like so. And we're gonna do those saddle wraps. Normally at this point, once we get this set, we're gonna either put some Zappa in there, or some hard as hole penetrator, or some liquid fusion to set those eyes. But for our tying tonight, we're not going to worry about setting those. I'll fish this one and probably put it in a bush anyway. So good thread base. Coming back to the back, tying a basic bugger. We're going to do it with a 2-tone tail, a little flash. And these guys are pretty quick and easy to tie. Good versatile bug for searching patterns. So we'll go ahead and start with some black Marabou. This hook's going to ride inverted when this fly's done, so I'm going to go ahead and put my lighter color on the bottom, which would be purple. Hope everybody's doing good out there at the end of March 2020. Go ahead and attach my tail, and I'm going to leave it a little bit longer than we do on a lot of our leech patterns. Just because we want this as a searching streamer a little bit more. So tie our Marabou in, give it a clip, and then we'll come back, tie everything down. Started this tail right where the shank starts to head down, right where the barb normally would have been. So for a little bit of our flash in here, our trigger point, we're going to use some krinklezon in UV black. This looks pretty black if you hold it up to the light, but looking at it directly, it's fairly purple. And I'm just going to take a small clump of that, and we're going to tie it in the middle of the clump, right where our tail started. Fold that back. A few more wraps in there, and then we'll just fold the other half back on this. Krinklezon really gives off a pretty great trigger point. You can see this stuff out of the drift boat 30-40 feet away. Definitely on a saltwater flat, this stuff really shows up. And it has some bulk, some fill to it, so it doesn't lay limp like a Flashabou. So got our flash in the middle, and now I'll take another clump of Marabou. This one's going to be in black. Like I said, we're leaving our tail just a little longer than we do on our leech patterns. because these are a little bit more of a good searching pattern. More of a bait fish. Wrap that marabou feather up at the front, and I don't have a problem taking that leftover feather and putting it through the eyes just to build a little teeny bit of bulk, make for a cleaner tie off or cut off. We're not going to use any chenille for the body or any dubbing. This is going to be a one-hit wonder, if you will. And so building up just a little teeny bulk with those marabou feathers, that doesn't hurt me at all. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take some of our hydro hackle. This is Festival. This is a really cool color. We like this one a lot, especially for our darker patterns. Has some cool pinks, purples, blues, golds in it. And I'm just going to take, 6-8 inches of this material and trim out the front so I can tie it in fairly neat. And I'm just going to tie that in by the tip right back to the back. The core to the hydro hackle doesn't have a lot of volume to it, so I don't need to worry about having a gap right here. I can go ahead and tie that down. It's going to lay flat. I'm not going to end up with a weird bump on my bug. Okay, so bring my thread back up to the front of the fly. And now it's just a matter of working this material through. So I'm going to pull it back as I wrap. I'm going to wrap away from me. And this is going to make the underbody, or the core, and the hackles all in one move. These things drop in the water pretty quick. Funny, when we first started tying these, I thought they looked a little weird. I'm old school. And I thought, maybe we'll put some chenille underneath there, some dubbing. But after, 5 years, going on 5 years now of fishing these quite a bit, it's not needed. It's actually, the fly works better with the small core and without the underbody because it sinks faster. The profile's still there, and it's a lot easier to tie. So now I've got everything tied up to behind the clouser eyes, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do some figure eights. Okay, and so I'm just going to start on my side in front and go to your side behind, pulling those fibers back as I go. And I'll do this twice in the same track. We all do this a little different, but the results end up about the same. Now that I've got 2 wraps going from my side in front to your side behind, I'll pull everything out of the way, and then I'll come behind on my side and go to your side in front. Comb it all back. Do the same thing on the second wrap. And you're going to get a few kind of outliers. They're going to kind of run a little bit on you. You can clean that up when you're done. And now I'm just going to take and continue those tight wraps right in front of the eye. Combing it back as I go. And hopefully we have enough left to get us all the way up on the front. We tie this with the eyes set back a little bit more to give it that balance. So it isn't jigged quite as much. If you wanted to do that, if you wanted a bug that was heavily weighted in the front, just adjust where you're going to put those eyes. Last wrap right up front. And the cool thing about hydro hackle is you can tug on it while you're laying it down. You can really kind of wrench on this and get a tight body with it. I've got this tag end sticking out here. I'm going to leave it on for now, and I'm just going to pull everything back and start working my thread back, to where you would a nice sized head on your fly. Pretty easy to add a big thread head when you get 240 yards per spool out of the Semperfli thread, the waxed. Normal spool's 100 yards. Semperfli thread's 240. Most of us, unless you're doing the stuff that we do, are not going to burn through a spool thread. But the cool thing is if you do, right now, Semperfli has got a gig going where there's some golden tickets out there, meaning at the end of one of these spools, or several of them that's out there, there's a gold sticker on the bottom of this that says, congratulations, you just won $250 worth of Semperfli fly time materials. And I know for a fact, because we know the dude, that there's 2 spools kicking around here on the shelves at Snake River Fly. So good reason to come and get some thread at Snake River Fly. So I'm just going to trim off that last little piece, comb this bad boy, and you know, however you decide to do it, the correct way where the black is on top when it's fished, or the way I just did it with the purple on top. Either way, it's a good looking bug. Really easy to tie, great bug. If you're just getting into the streamer game, you do this in, you know, olive, brown, black, white, or silver, maybe a gold one. You tie half dozen of each. You've got your streamer game pretty much covered for anywhere you go. Super easy way to get into that streamer game is tying these Snake River buggers. And there you go. There you have it. Snake River bugger in black and purple. I think this one we're going to call Steve. And from our good buddy Steve at Maxon Outfitters. Appreciate you guys a bunch. If you haven't checked their stuff out, awesome stuff. It'll be on the new site. Anything from them, from inflatable boats all the way down to poly or fluoro-coated tippet. Great rods, great reels. Excellent group of people out of Kent, Washington, the Maxon family. So this one's named after you, Steve. Steve.